We believe in Joe Hendry in this channel, ladies and gentlemen, so subscribe if you believe in him too, and if you want to see more wrestling content. Today we're going to talk about why I think it's more than a real possibility that Joe Hendry will show up at the Royal Rumble 2025 event, which is going to be happening February 1st. Now I know there's like more than half a year until we get to that PLE, but the fact is Joe Hendry's been cooking, and this momentum that he's got, I think he can keep it going because this isn't luck. The fact that Joe Hendry is this over is just not luck. And if you look for him, the signs are already there. Like the fact that he made his NXT cameo, I'm not even gonna say debut because it's weird, it's still in TNA and all that. Only 2-3 people got entrances out of like 30 people in that battle royal, and Joe Hendry was one of them. Only one person got to cut a promo before the match, a decent like length too. It was around a minute, right? Who was that? It was Joe Hendry and nobody else. And then he got eliminated quickly because obviously he was not winning the Battle Royal, so they didn't want to keep him in there and they just wanted to protect him. It was so obvious. And then he went backstage, did another somewhat viral post with Shawn freaking Michaels himself. And Shawn Michaels himself said, I believe. So speaking to that, I think this whole WWE and TNA partnership thing is to get more people to NXT to scout more talent that the WWE thinks is really cool. And I always thought that Jordynne Grace was, number one on the list. Like she's definitely going to the WWE when her time with TNA is over, sooner rather than later. And then I think we can easily add Joe Hendry to that list. And yeah, see, now the Royal Rumble time frame makes a lot of sense because right now in TNA, if you look at Joe Hendry's career, every single time he comes out there, cuts a promo, he just has the crowd by the cojones. He just has it. In the match, he has it. Like he has great wrestling, basically. I think he figured it out. I'll get to the exact reason why I think is like absolutely amazing and more than ready to be in the WWE. But I want to say this first. Even though he's like over, let's say Dolph Ziggler level back in the day, Zack Ryder when he had that internet show, Rusev when he had the Rusev Day, he's that over in TNA right now. But TNA was doing some really WWE type booking because he was just losing all the matches. He was just losing, or he was on the pre-show. Like, what are you doing? But finally, I think it happened very recently this week. He won a match against Jake something. Even though this guy is just the golden goose of your company, you just made him lose and lose and lose, which I didn't get. But finally, again, they gave him a chance for that World Heavyweight Championship. It's a 6-way. I believe currently Moose is the champion, and they kind of have him on this like pseudo Roman Reigns type reign where he's been the champion for a very long time, but it definitely doesn't seem as prestigious as the Roman Reigns reign at all. And this storyline that they've got going on around it doesn't seem to be that insane either. So I think they're not gonna pull the trigger. If this was a one-on-one match, Moose versus Joe Hendry, I would have told you that he's going to be the champion. And in the future, I think Joe Hendry is going to be the champion. The TNA is going to finally smarten up and basically give the championship to the most over guy by a million miles in your entire company. What are you even waiting for? I don't know. But the fact that this is a 6-man match, I think they're going to make Joe Hendry not even take the pin, but like, he's going to be busy doing something else over there and he's going to lose. And if you drag this out and if you play your cards right, I think the moment when Joe Hendry wins that title could be magical. So I'm not hating on it yet, but yeah, if they kept making Joe Hendry lose to meaningless matches, put him in meaningless stuff, I would have been mad because TNA, again, you have a golden goose in your hand and you're just like throwing it away. But that's not what they're doing so far. So we'll see. But yeah, I think he's going to be a TNA champion. He's gonna make more songs, like more viral moments. He's the only reason why I'm watching anything TNA related right now, and I don't think I'm alone. I don't think I'm alone. If you're watching TNA, unless you've been a fan for a long time, I think most of us, right? Most of us are tuning into what Joe Hendry is doing. Now I want to go back all the way to maybe 2016, 17 to What Culture Pro Wrestling, because that's where I saw Joe Hendry, and I think the man started training in like the beginning of 2013, 14. Like he's really actually, wow, okay, he made his debut for New Generation Wrestling in 2015, and 2017 was like WCPW territory, and he was already wrestling Kurt Angle, and he was already 2 years into his career, not only wrestling Kurt Angle, but was one of the top guys in his promotion. And I never really researched him at the time, but when he was wrestling Kurt Angle, I didn't even question Joe Hendry. I thought he was wrestling for 10 years, 15 years. Or I thought he was a veteran. But yeah, he had great matches with Kurt Angle, Drew Galloway at the time. Now we know him as Drew McIntyre, of course. Like, he just killed it in everything he did. He was funny. With Joseph Connors, I still remember those. I mean, even back then, he just had character. He had a lot of talent in the ring. And for a long while, I think he just tried this combination, tried that combination, while, honing his skills and working out so he has a better body. Trying to get that look, finding the perfect attire, the perfect name, the perfect entrance. In the meanwhile, he was solid in the ring and he just kept getting better. So that's why I think in ring wise, he always had it. Doesn't matter, just put him out there. He'll wrestle in any company and I think make it work. And then character-wise, he always had something unique going on. I think he finally found the perfect way to present it that will make him viral. I mean, obviously, he's taken a lot of inspiration from The Rock, but the man says it himself as well. Like, the fact that he's into wrestling at all is because of The Rock. Like, he thought it was awesome and that's what got him into it. So you can make the comparison just like with LA Knight, the way Joe Hendry says his catchphrase at the very end. He did this guitar concert thing as well, which is basically made famous by The Rock, but he put his own spin on it. So I think this guy is golden. Not just for TNA, but for WWE too. And I think with the NXT move, that just pretty much confirms that they realized that. And I think the most important thing about Joe Hendry is the fact that he will go for any opportunity and try to turn it to gold. And if he doesn't have an opportunity, he'll try his best to make one. Great example of that is his story of being on Monday Night Raw television with Rusev and Lana as their, Russian lawyer. He was not even supposed to be there. Somebody backstage just called him over, said, go grab 2 red ties we needed for tonight. And they had 2 other guys planned to be that, lawyer. So they were going to try him out. Okay, here's this promo. You two, go ahead and try to read this in a Russian accent. We'll see what happens. And they've had like just a couple of minutes to study this promo, if not less than that. But Joe Hendry was there as well, and he said, screw it. He memorized the entire promo. Probably tried to do a Russian accent like legit for the first time in his life. And because he memorized the promo and he didn't read it from the paper in such a short time too, he got picked basically. And character like that, intuition, whatever you may want to call it. Yeah, sometimes it can get or seem a little selfish, but that's the wrestling business in my opinion. You got to look out for number one. More than his wrestling ability, maybe even more than his viral song, like that is what is helping him the most when it comes to making his dream a reality. A lot of times he had to do stuff that he was not particularly confident about or comfortable with. But he said, let me do it anyways. And he dove like right in there, did the absolute best he could do every single time. And that's what has gotten him this far. And as long as he doesn't stop doing that, again, it's just the Royal Rumble thing seems a given at this point. As far as what happens after the Rumble, I do think they sign him to the WWE, but this man is 36 years old, okay? That's an important fact. Now, he doesn't wrestle like Ricochet or Velasquez, where he does like 630s all the time. No, he's a pretty grounded wrestler, so his style will be viable even when he's 45, which is very smart. But the age thing makes me think, because he's not young, but he's not too old either. So where would his ceiling be? I'm optimistic that he can keep this whole momentum going, keep evolving his character, keep getting better, keep listening to the right advice by the right people. And I think that will lead him to a World Heavyweight Championship, for example. WWE Championship? I don't know. That's tough. That's tough for anybody, because The Rock and Roman Reigns is going to be around that. Cody Rhodes is going to be around that championship for a good while, at least a couple more years in my thinking. So I see him as a definite world champion, though, when he comes to the WWE. Definitely an easy Intercontinental United States tag team. And no matter what championship he's going to hold, I think it's going to make things fun. That's the most important thing. But yeah, that'll be my question for this video. Do you think Joe Hendry, in this timeline, will he ever be a WWE champion? Let me know, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen, to this channel if you want to see more wrestling content.